This video was sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes launching your own website a breeze.
Welcome back to The Breakroom. Marvel Zombies has yet another trailer to delight and fascinate and freak us out. This show looks so good. We're learning a lot from this trailer. The marketing for this animated show is surprisingly good. I'm Erik Voss here with Zach Huddleston, and we are going to be reacting to this trailer, taking your questions about what to expect from the series when it drops on September 24th. It's The Breakroom. Anything we want to get to before we get started?
I'm hungry for brains.
Brains. Yeah. Anytime we think that Marvel is snoozing right now, then they drop shit like this and just show like they still got it.
And maybe we'll, after we talk about the content of the trailer and things we're looking forward to in Marvel Zombies, maybe we could talk about marketing strategy.
Yeah, let's talk about the marketing.
We got the first trailer about 2 weeks ago.
We did, yeah.
So both the first and the second trailer within a month of the release of the show. September 24th is when all 4 episodes are dropping.
Yeah.
That's a unique kind of marketing timeline. Though we were kind of talking about it earlier, already more robust than Eyes of Wakanda.
Certainly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so should we just watch first?
Yeah, let's watch this new trailer that just dropped today through IGN's YouTube channel, which is interesting.
Disney Plus.
And the voice actor they got for that was like, from George Romero. I love the choices here.
In a world. That is a great trailer. We were talking about it a little bit before we went live. I love that is marketing it like a movie.
Yeah.
In that, there's not disparate storylines, at least according to the marketing. Now, maybe across the 4 episodes, maybe we'll spend the first episode with Shang-Chi and the second episode with Yelena or something like that, and they kind of all get together by the final episode. Who knows? But that makes it seem like a cool zombie movie that ends in a gigantic battle, right?
It does. And it feels like we've had our opinions on whether or not these shows should be dropped week by week by week or all at once, but a 4-part animated event that altogether will be a little more than 2 hours, doesn't that kind of feel like it is a cool way during Halloween season to spend a night just watching all 4 of these? It's smart marketing in this particular instance to promote this as a big, scary, horror, bloody Marvel event. And I think they really understand the project, and I think they understand what the audience would want out of something like this. Even the What If Zombies episode from season 1, it had some fun bits to it, but it felt a little jokey. It felt more like Zombieland, like a horror comedy, zombie comedy, than Walking Dead or Resident Evil or 28 Days Later or something else. I really like what they're going for here. There's a lot of mystery to what even is happening. They're just kind of promoting the aura of it. And I don't really know what the story is. We know how the What If episode left off where, Peter and Scott and T'Challa were taking the Mind Stone to Wakanda, hoping to create a cure to the zombie virus because we know Vision's Mind Stone was one thing. There was a frequency that was keeping the zombies away. So maybe with that, they can kind of generate a cure. But I don't really care. I kind of want to see who's going to die. And the one cool thing that the What If Zombies episode did is, it did have a high kill count. Most of the people died in it. And I feel like they're going to keep that going here.
Yes. And seeing, heroes that would not otherwise fight each other because one of them is a zombie.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Super fun.
Ghost and Blade probably not likely to enter into combat.
Yeah. Zombie Namor being in the mix is really fun. I'm going to just scrub through this a little bit. I will be breaking down this trailer shot by shot in another video that's going to come out to new Rockstars on Monday. But there's one moment that kind of blew my mind that I didn't remember seeing in the first trailer. Maybe it's at I don't know if I can find it. We definitely see Carol Danvers in this at 45 seconds in, and it looks like she's fighting Icarus, maybe? I think she is fighting Icarus in that scene. That's definitely Icarus. Now, I thought I saw Icarus in the last trailer, but that was actually Thor. But I knew Icarus from concept art was going to be in this. oh, there's like this shot where Death Dealer is just like breaking someone's hand up. Ugh.
Or is he having his hand broken?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. But like an unrecognizable big bearded man. Like, I don't know that is a known character.
That's the hardest thing with this animating style is anyone who's like, that's obviously so-and-so. I'm like, no
it's
okay,
not.
Nice try, Brad Winderbaum in the comments of our videos.
Two characters that are obvious in that, well, there's some of these characters are obvious, but it's
Some
like, Red Guardian's very recognizable, mostly because he's wearing his comic accurate and MCU accurate costume, and he has the big beard. Death Dealer, very recognizable because of the mask.
No one else looks like that.
Yes, but like a lot of the other people, you'd be forgiven for being like, is that Kamala Khan, or is that Katie, or is that Yelena,
Right.
or is that any other shorter woman, right?
Yeah.
Like, they can be kind of tough to make out, especially, not only is this art style tough to disseminate, but like this is a dark show that is like underlit in its design, and there's red lights and stuff like that, so there's a challenge to it. Maybe it'll be easier when we can hear their voices.
Yeah. Or when subtitles show us who's speaking. They do something really cool the way they end this trailer by showing like Peter Parker flinging Stormbreaker. And okay, so we know the context. They're going to Wakanda after Thanos has gotten there. So Thanos, presumably, the moment he got the other 5 Infinity Stones, got to Wakanda, one of the first things that happened after he beat the crap out of the other Avengers who were there, Avengers who would not be there for this moment because they're already zombified from the Golden Gate Bridge. But Thor was not among them. Thor was still trying to forge a new weapon in with E-Tree, you know? And so that version of events is still going to play. Thor's going to get back there. Presumably Thor will get zombified. So Stormbreaker will get loose. It is Groot's arm that's still forming the handle. And a lot of people are like, wait, does this mean Peter Parker's worthy? No, the worthiness charm from Odin is not on Stormbreaker. It's only on Mjolnir. Other people can lift Stormbreaker. However, Thor did say in Infinity War that if other people were to try to lift Stormbreaker, they would go crazy. They would lose their minds. So it's not like there's a worthiness charm where they cannot lift it, but it will drive them insane. So it was a big deal when like other characters wielded it. At some point that did happen. Steve Rogers wielded it, and then they tossed it back to each other in the Battle of Earth. So it's not a worthiness charm, but like you do have to have some kind of resistance or some kind of high moral character or fiber or something that Peter Parker seems to have here by being able to fling it at zombie Thanos. But
and am I right in that like when he snaps and like characters rise out of the ground, presumably buried dead bodies that are reanimated as zombies, it is a fun inversion of the Infinity War snap.
Yeah.
He's technically bringing people back rather than
cool.
making them go away, but of course they're coming back as gross zombies.
yeah, that is
I wonder then, does this end with the equivalent of Tony Stark in his snap, but like it can maybe release people from the zombiness or kill them? I guess like once your face is half rotted and you're like missing an arm, it's not like you can just be cured of zombification, right? You just die.
Yeah, unless you like sever it or something like that, you cut it off. But yeah, I think at that point, I don't think they can reverse it. But also, we're talking about magic here. The Infinity Stones have some kind of like cosmic magic to them, and you could reverse anything. You could remake reality.
And I think this was maybe in a previous trailer, but is it a floating Doctor Strange head with a cape?
That's Scott Lang. That's Scott Lang from the end of the What If episode. When we saw him in that episode, he was at Camp Lehigh, and that's because his body parts were severed off by Vision to feed Wanda. So he's got Doctor Strange's cloak of levitation that's just latched onto his head, Futurama style. That's how they ended the episode, and like it is very fun. He was making a lot of jokes. But like we're gonna see if Marvel Zombies has that same kind of humor. Really, I guess like you can't have Scott Lang be that serious.
I mean, though the trailers do not showcase any humor, but like the fact that we know some of these episodes are going to heavily feature Red Guardian, Katie, Kamala Khan, Scott Lang, like those are more comedic characters, right? So maybe there will be a lot of levity in this TVMA show.
Yeah, I think this is like, this looks really fun. So like, why did Marvel wait until September to start promoting it?
One of today's sponsors is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one tool that gives you everything you need to make a website that looks good and does whatever you need it to do. Whether that's a portfolio or a homepage for your business, or just a site where people can leave reviews of your dog, and only your dog, Squarespace can handle it. If you're selling goods or services, Squarespace can help you untangle digital payment platforms with just a few clicks, making it easy to start receiving payments right away using popular payment methods like Apple Pay, ACH Direct Debit, Klarna, and more. If you're not a graphic designer, don't worry. Squarespace's design intelligence tool makes it so easy to get your website looking just right. It combines 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology. Every Squarespace website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more. So you show up more often to more people in global search engine results. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/breakroom to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's very strange. It's like they don't want to let people know about these shows. Now, could this be Conspiracy Corner? Could this be a mandate from on high? We don't want to foster homework culture. We actually don't need to reach the casuals with this stuff and make them think that there's yet more Marvel stuff they have to keep up with, or they won't buy a ticket to see Avengers Doomsday or Fantastic Four or whatever. So we'll slip this out under the cover of the night, know that just our hardcores will watch it, and we'll quit making this kind of content going forward.
Yeah, that might be what's going on. They're just kind of clearing out the pipeline a little bit. Even though they are excited about these releases, they see a benefit to them. But I think it's also budgetary.
Yes.
I think generally it's the studio might not have given the marketing teams a full budget to really go hard on this stuff. Because it costs money to
millions of dollars
to host events, to do mailers, or to cut a trailer,
to hire people.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and they've already obviously paid the cost. They might also, in their defense, maybe they've done experiments in the past and they realized that the same number of people will watch.
Oh yeah,
Marvel Zombies whether we promote it or not. So let's not promote it.
Or maybe they feel like for these animated titles that are going to be binge drops, they find that through market research, you only need to tell people 3 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
And that's, I assume that they know what they're doing more than I do about what they're doing, So there's got to be a reason to it. I mean, Netflix has shown this model when it comes to promoting their streaming titles. They will announce a slate, but then when it comes to showing you a trailer, you'll see a trailer for something like a month in advance.
Yeah.
It's rare for a Netflix show. I mean, Stranger Things being the exception, Squid Games sometimes being the exception, but for a new show on Netflix, yeah, they'll do it in a month in
Because
advance.
for a streamer, right, they don't need to sell tickets. So there's no buy tickets now, here's a link in the description to the Fandango or whatever, right? In theory, really, they just want you to maintain your subscription. Mm-hmm. So as long as every time you open up the app, you're seeing new content on there and there's always something for you to watch, right? That's what they want. So maybe also they're Marvel Zombies is just about when people hit the Marvel tab on Disney Plus, there's some new stuff there that people haven't seen.
Yeah.
We want every 6 weeks you to be able to open up that tab and there's something new that you haven't watched before, right? And that's really all we need to accomplish with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we think that Marvel is just drawing this line with animation? Because we know with Ironheart, they similarly waited pretty close to the release date, but not this close. Mm-hmm. X-Men 97, I believe, might have still been closer to its release for a trailer than Ironheart was. I might be wrong about that. But do we think we're gonna see more something for Wonder Man? We still haven't seen a trailer for Wonder Man yet. Are they gonna wait till November to release a trailer for that?
That's a December release.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, or maybe once we get on the other side of Marvel Zombies, that's the next Marvel thing coming out. Yeah. Right? Maybe do we see an October trailer for that?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to just kind of know when the release date is so we can plan our holidays,
Do not Marvel. Okay, we're already pissed at Stranger Things. Okay, they're dropping an episode on Christmas and on New Year's. Guys, we want to take some days off.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if Marvel does the same thing and they do one of these Echo release schedules or something like that, where it's all episodes dropping on December 24th. go to hell. You know what I mean?
Prime Video is doing the same shit with Fallout Season 2.
That's right.
So Christmas time release.
And like, I get it. In theory, a lot of movies come out around the holidays too. That's when people are home and like maybe not working or going to school. You have a lot of time to watch stuff. You don't want to talk to your family, right? Maybe in certain parts of the world there's snow and you don't want to go outside. But purely selfishly for our purposes, it sucks.
Yeah. I think this trailer is great. I think whoever has been cutting these trailers for Marvel Studios needs to get paid more, and they need to be assigned to more things. I think it does demonstrate that there are people there who know how to sell these things. And is it a reflection of just like there are people there who are excited about this title in particular? Or does that mean that like this title is going to be good enough that it lends itself to a great, well-cut trailer?
Maybe it's that. Right? Like in that these trailers give us no plot because they don't need to.
Right.
Right? The selling point of this is not like, see what happens when X and Y have to overcome B and C. No. It's just Marvel Zombies. It's literally the title is all you need to be sold on. And then like cool violence, nasty kills, crazy action, right? Yep, we're in. I mean, and they sprinkle a little bit. I'm going to say the Red Guardian call to arms.
Pretty cool.
Pretty badass.
It works.
You get a little Braveheart tingle from that.
Oh, I mean, sure.
David Harbour is always game as that character, and I believe that's his voice.
That is David Harbour.
Yes, and like it feels like Disney is also very comfortable continuing to hand things like that. I mean, he's been prominently featured in latter What If seasons.
Yeah.
They clearly like working with him, and he's great. And maybe like him as cartoon might be the ultimate form of Red Guardian too?
Yeah, I think so. You and I both listen to Matt Bellany's podcast, The Town. He had an interesting thing that we brought up on something else that we recorded in the past week. The study that was done of the movie-going habits and preferences of audiences based off of their age group. And while there is a stereotype and perception out there that the youngest generations are like the worst when it comes to having their phones out, being distracted, talking during movie theaters, well, it's actually not true. Gen Alpha, who is like, I think anyone maybe
13 and younger.
Yeah. So we're really talking about kids. But those kids, according to this survey, even though a lot of them do have smartphones, do not want their smartphones out. They are like the best at this of the different age groups. And I'm not including boomers in that, but like I think they looked at Gen Z and millennials and Gen X. And our age groups are actually worse than Gen Alpha is when it comes to like having our phones out. And they said that like Gen Alpha actually prefers having movie theaters as an escapist alternative to the digital screen-filled world in their homes and schools that they grew up with. Like, because they grew up in a world where they cannot remember a time before everything was immediately accessible within reach.
We as millennials are the Steve Rogers zombie and Ghost zombie, whereas it's the Gen Alpha that are the Kamala Khan and the Guardians trying to defeat our rotted brains. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. I think the reason I bring it up is, like, could that also tell us something about the future of streaming? Like, Netflix has won the streaming wars, but is streaming something like we might see a post-streaming era to where maybe Netflix is still kicking around, but the way Netflix killed the Blockbuster star, something else may kill Netflix in our lifetimes. And that we might actually see Gen Alpha kind of invent a solution here that we're all looking for that won't have us sitting on our asses in like a home theater environment that's filled with distractions and second screens.
Well, like two things. Yes, is this a digression? Hell yeah. How much more can we talk about a dialogue-free? No. It was a really fun trailer, and we're going to come back to the trailer. On that note, Eric, two things. One, the big rumor in Hollywood is that Paramount is trying to buy Warner Brothers, right? The Ellisons and all their Oracle billions scooped up Paramount, and now supposedly Warner Brothers is for sale. And like that would be gigantic because low-key Paramount Plus has a decent number of subscribers, right? Like they have NFL football on Paramount Plus and like a lot of the Taylor Sheridan stuff. And there's like a big swath of America that loves that.
And don't forget Survivor.
And Star Trek. And like there's a lot going on there. Honestly, it's the one major streamer I don't have and I've never really had.
You're missing out just for Survivor.
But, and then Warner Brothers has HBO Max, which has a lot. We're talking about Peacemaker in a couple minutes. Obviously, all of DC, all of Harry Potter, the Warner Brothers studio, Sinners, Weapons, Minecraft movie. There's a ton there. In addition to cable channels like TNT, TCM, Cartoon Network, right? All that stuff is also Warner Brothers. Now, if, the streaming race has been like Netflix ahead by a mile, then kind of the combo of Disney, Hulu.
Well, I think Prime Video is
just by volume, not necessarily by hours watched, right? But like because everybody with that subscribes to Prime, and then like Disney is kind of like putting up a good fight, especially with families, and then like everybody else, including HBO Max, Paramount Plus, more niche streamers.
Apple TV has kind of crept above them a little bit.
Yes, but are pretty far. Behind.
No one's close to Netflix. Is kind of
and no one's really gaining ground. In fact, Peacock also in there.
Yeah.
But like the trend over the last 2-3 years has been these streamers are not even necessarily trying to grow as much. They're trying to cut costs because they'll throw a ton of money into getting into the streaming game. And so but to combine Paramount Plus and Warner Brothers into maybe like HBO Double Max or HBO Max with 2 X's or HBO Max with a Max and a Plus. I don't know. But that could be an interesting player, like maybe moving towards like a triumvirate in the streaming game or something like that, right? Where that could kind of change the game. Maybe there's some challenges to the current status quo that could evolve the medium. I will then throw out another thing. A24 are one of our favorite little indie movie studios behind Everything Everywhere All at Once and Nora and a lot of other cool movies. Just bought a Broadway theater, or it's actually technically off Broadway, and they're going to there's going to be one-person shows and stand-up comedy and stuff like that, but they can also do screenings there. And they said that it's part of their move into experiences as they kind of expand their brand. Netflix owns a theater here in Los Angeles, another theater in New York, even though they hate theaters and want them to die. They do own 2 of them where they host events and occasionally show their own movies. Have we now gone full all the way over the swing set, right? And it's everything is at your home. There's no reason to ever leave to go to a theater. Just sit on your couch and consume all media. But we as humans are desperate for excuses to get out of the house now,
right. And I think Gen Alpha experienced COVID at a different time in their development, so they are eager to break free of that nest more than a millennial who might have felt a bit of respite to have 2 years where they could just not have to deal with their social anxiety.
Put on a belt.
Yeah, it's different for a kid whose whole world is the friends they make at school. Whereas, if you're a millennial, most of us have made our friends, we found our pod, and we can find ways to still talk to each other, especially if we're glued to our phones.
Today's episode of Breakroom is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football season has officially begun, so we're already full of hot takes and strong opinions on every player, and we're putting our money where our mouths are with over-under bets. Will Saquon Barkley have more than 1 rushing TD? More, for sure, right? But Joe Burrow's not getting 2.5 passing TDs. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Download the app today and use code BREAKROOM to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code BREAKROOM to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
So Yeah, I think that what you're getting at though is a lot of things. You also have things like the Sphere in Las Vegas,
Yes.
that is making a lot of money right now from the Wizard of Oz's
People are
experience.
paying $200 to see the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, but not the Wizard of Oz. It's
No,
like an
like
experience.
a 70-minute cut down weird AI
a 4D experience that uses AI to fill in corners of the
Throw
frame.
in the chat if you've seen the Sphere Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, let us know. I'd be curious to see it. But like they have like wind blowing at you when the tornado. It's supposed to be like a pretty cool experience. Is it a sustainable business model? Is it something that they could turn into Cirque du Soleil and open in different things? We know, like you have your Vegas mothership, and then you have a location in, Atlantic City. You have a version of it in New Orleans. You have a version of it in LA,
You're
Long Beach.
opening one in Abu Dhabi or Qatar
Sure, yeah,
or one
yeah.
of those places. Very quick, this will be an episode of Asides. After Wizard of Oz, what movie should they do next?
Well, on the town, they were
Sphere.
saying Star Wars. I think the trench run would be incredible to see. They were saying no Christopher Nolan movie would work. Inception in the Sphere would make us all puke, but it would be awesome. It would be so cool.
Top Gun Maverick?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Top Gun Maverick is Star Wars, right? It's Star Wars for the Navy. And so that's why Top Gun Maverick works, is the whole thing is a trench run. I think anything like that. Let's see. Which Marvel movie would be best in the Sphere?
Ooh. And now, I haven't been to the Sphere. I can only, having seen photos, I assume it's like an even more intense IMAX experience.
Yeah, because they throw apples and shit at you. They have little kids come out and spit at you. I don't know.
Tiny apple cannons situated throughout the building. They had to install those for the Backstreet Boys. What Marvel movie?
I mean, Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar would crush in the Sphere.
And also, they got the rights to cut down dramatically Wizard of Oz because like the old rule of thumb in Vegas is like a show should only be about an hour long because you need to get people back to the tables, or people just don't want to sit through 2 hours of something, whether that's like a magic show or a comedy act or this. A cut down, maybe with some like hits from previous films, but like Endgame, just focusing on the big final battle.
Oh, sure, you could
just kind of
jettison
building to that.
Yeah, you could cut. I mean, that's a 3 hour, but like you could get like an 80-minute cut of.
You could
Endgame.
yada a lot of the time travel stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe the first Guardians.
Especially with the music.
The music is what I'm thinking. It feels like a rock concert.
That's great. Same with Ragnarok could be fun. Some of those visuals and and the music,
or just the first Iron Man. Some of those aerial shots. The VFX hold up really well. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun. But like, are these the type of things that is going to put Disney Plus to bed? I do think that like in some ways streaming will always be a commodity. Like people will have home experiences, whether it was Betamax, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and then now streaming. There will always be a version of consuming media at home, and streaming will be that, or some other version of it will be on other devices that might not be screens the same way we can conceive them now. So Disney Plus will always exist, maybe if there is a sale between Warner and Paramount, you'll see Paramount Plus and HBO Max merge. My hope is that like we only have to really subscribe to like 2 or 3 of these things, or we can really bundle them the way we used to with cable, because it's just insane how much you have to pay to be able to watch everything now.
I'm going to assume we're never going to pay less.
Yeah, I guess that's the reality. I mean, due to the nature of inflation, and due to how sophisticated they can get, I think what you will see is more tiers on these services, where if you just want an NFL package, if you just want a Marvel package.
You're willing to watch a lot of ads, et cetera, et cetera. Though, again, for my personal preferences, and I'm as broke as any other human, so like I wouldn't mind if the prices were lower, but I mostly want better stuff. You know how disappointing it is to open up a streamer and to scroll through for 15 minutes and not see anything that I want to watch. I mean, that was the old joke about cable, 300 channels and nothing's on. Sometimes I feel like that with Netflix, honestly. Obviously, they're putting out tons of content, and I might just have esoteric tastes that are not being appealed to, but like, I sometimes feel that way.
Yeah. So when we're looking at something as fun as Marvel Zombies seems, based off of this trailer, based off of what we've just been saying, does that seem like that's the future of something like Disney Plus? Is that this type of content going to be, like, we're here for it, but is that going to be something that gets like our nephews and nieces, when they start to enter the workforce, are they going to be like, yes, I will pay whatever to get this? No, they're going to want a version of Disney Plus that is merged with Hulu, with ESPN, with, I could also watch NBA games on it. I can watch NFL games on it. I could watch
reality TV, dating competition.
Like, what are the big shows that people stream? They watch Love Island. They watch all this shit. Yeah. They watch The Traitors. Like that. Shows like that have to be part of the solution.
Yes.
As much as I don't really care about a lot of those, to be honest, but.
Yeah, though, guys, let's talk Traitors any day of the week. Heaven Soul on YouTube making a good point. Streaming also has very short attention spans. If you promote something, it needs to be available ASAP or soon enough that you can hit remind me. Right? So, like, dropping a trailer 3 months ahead of the release, maybe not as effective if the result you want to generate is people watch that show.
Yeah.
Right? Sure, it's on people's radar. I guess you can show scenes at a con or a D23 or whatever to keep awareness out there and maybe get a couple headlines. But like, really, you need good trailers and they need to be right before the show comes out. And, one could argue that's exactly what they're doing with Marvel Zombies.
Yep.
Yeah.
As we wrap up this Marvel Zombies discussion, we're going to take a few more questions and then we'll move on to Peacemaker. A Sphere question from GSU Eagle on Twitch. My favorite kind of movie experience is going to an orchestra hall where they play the movie on screen while having the movie soundtracks played live. I've done this for A New Hope and one of the Harry Potter movies, and it was great. Yeah, I went to the Hollywood Bowl and did that with Jurassic Park. Amazing experience.
Oh, yeah. That does sound great. I haven't done that particular kind of viewing experience. I would love to. Sydney83 on Twitch saying Interstellar at the Sphere.
Ooh, here we go. I mean, the thing is, yes, that would be cool. Just the docking sequence. So many of the sequences on Interstellar. The issue is like you have to, if the filmmaker's still alive, they would have to be okay with it. And so Victor Fleming, who directed The Wizard of Oz, is dead. So
probably dead almost 100 years ago.
So the rights to it have just been like David Zaslav, who Warner had the rights to distribute the film. Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, the Russo brothers, they're all still alive and would want input. However, the reason I bring up Avatar is you can imagine that crazy old man James Cameron being like, sure, I'll make a cut of Avatar that you can see at the Sphere and make a 70-minute cut of it. I don't know if Nolan would ever allow a recut of any of his movies.
My man doesn't even shoot on digital, right?
No,
he loves film.
He would never allow AI to fill the screen. He'd be like, I will just reshoot it. I'll go to Miller's Planet myself and reshoot it.
Though I think, filmmakers are usually kind of interested in technology, but he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
His movie's doing fine being shown on normal old theaters.
Yeah, I think what he would say is like, okay, I will do this if, owner of the Sphere, you build 14 more 70mm IMAX screens around the country and then help me pay for that construction so that I can exhibit my films the way I want to throughout more cities that don't have to drive down to Tampa to see it. Because whoever wants to drive down to Tampa, right?
From LA?
Or I'm thinking, Gainesville, Jacksonville. The Tampa was the closest one of these. And it's like, ugh, gotta drive through acres and acres of strip malls. And then, wrong turn. I'm in Clearwater, and Scientologists are stopping me at stoplights to fill my car with pamphlets. Hey,
fill it.
If you are from Florida, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
What are your crimes, Eric? Bodie26 and coming from an Australian, how good would Doctor Strange be in the Sphere? Now, Bodie, why does it matter that it's coming from an Australian? I guess kudos that you're watching from Australia. You're watching tomorrow. It's already your weekend. But I guess, is there a particular Australian connection to Doctor Strange?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I love it.
I think they're just saying, hey, I'm coming from Australia.
Yes. Oh, hey, here from Australia. What about Doctor Strange? Love it. I think, that'd be a lot of fun. Though, the first act of that movie, I don't know that I need that spherified.
You don't want to hang out with Benjamin Bratt, play basketball?
Michael Stuhlbarg.
Hey, I would sit through Michael Stuhlbarg for 3 hours doing anything.
He's a great actor.
Just Michael Stuhlbarg filing his nails.
Incredibly talented.
If Michael Stuhlbarg is just slicing apples, I will watch 4 hours of that.
Shaolin, I want Black Adam so I can see The Rock's bald head flying in the Sphere.
It would be the biggest bald head. We'd all see our futures in the reflection of it.
I mean, the hierarchy of power in the Sphere is going to be changed forever. Jelly Grace, which character that is not shown in the trailer would you love to see in Marvel Zombies? as a zombie or in their final form. But you have to imagine, I mean, we see that shot of like a team with Red Guardian and Kamala and Yelena and Shang-Chi, right? And a couple other folks. Clearly, it looks like they're in like a helicarrier or something they're about to get dropped into a war zone, or maybe they're indoors somewhere. And then separate from that group, you mentioned the Spider-Man, T'Challa, Scott Lang crew of non-zombies. Doesn't it feel like some other folks will arrive?
Yeah, I feel like Rocket. Rocket came with Thor. Rocket and Groot came with Thor. So we're gonna see zombie Groot. Can Groot become a zombie?
Oh.
If he's made of wood?
If he gets bit, will he change?
I guess
mean,
we'll see.
Thanos is not human, and he is definitely zombified.
But he's like flesh. He's got blood and veins and stuff. Because like Vision had the whole thing of like he was a synthezoid, but there was human skin tissue that was used and fortified with vibranium atoms. So I guess there was vibranium that kept him from being bitten. So I don't know how that applies with Groot. I like to think Groot would be okay. But Rocket might show up. Mephisto?
Ooh.
If Riri Williams is going to be in this season, why not Mephisto?
Oh, I love that. I mean, we know we're getting Blade Moon Knight. Do we get somebody else in addition from Mephisto? Do we get somebody else from that corner of the universe?
And when Sacha Baron Cohen shows up, he insists that they sculpted his abs in animation.
Do you think he gets final cut on the show? And he's like, you didn't make me ripped enough?
Final cut on the cut. Well, we'll leave it there for this discussion about Marvel Zombies. Thank you for watching, and we will see you for an upload next week on Monday about Peacemaker. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to Brian Kim for editing. Bye, everybody. What happened?
Shout out to our friends at Zipstring, the Zipstring Arachna. We'll put a link in this video's description. It's this fun quasi Spider-Man-ish thing. Zipstring was like this product that was on Shark Tank, and you could buy it, and the normal thing, you're like holding your hand, and it shoots out this little string, and it kind of like, it's quasi yo-yo, but like you could do like tricks and stuff, and I know it's very silly, but they have this new one. You can pre-order it on Kickstarter. So anyways, also it's just fun to pull out in the middle of a Breakroom episode and scare Eric.
Now, is this true that Zipstring episode of Shark Tank was in the movie Weapons?
Yes, and we'd been talking to the Zipstring folks about working with them. I went and saw Weapons like on opening night, and then I emailed them. I was like, oh, hey, congrats on being in Weapons. And they were like, what? That was not any kind of sponsorship or partnership. I think that was just Zach Kreger was like, I like Shark Tank.
And I like the Zipstring. I don't want to give them...
In Julia Garner's house, when she gets witch written on her car. Anyways, their episode of Shark Tank, the only product you see is the Zipstring founders demonstrating on the screen. Anyways.
I love it.
We love it. We play with this a lot in the office. I will often annoy Brian with me dangling it in the studio.